fine February day here in the Montana garage. I'm sitting here in the 55, wishing, hoping, dreaming, thinking, geez, I just wish I could be doing something to it, making some progress, driving it, anything. But I'm still nursing the bad shoulder. See, my arm kind of works, but I can't lift anything. I can't, with doctor's orders, I'm not supposed to do anything. So I haven't been doing anything. No new progress to speak of. So in this video, we're going back in time once again to wiring the front of the car. We're gonna put the headlights in, that sort of stuff. If you stick around to the end, we'll come back to present day and we'll do a little walk around and kind of show you how everything all worked out. Because I didn't do a very good job at ending the wiring harness video because I wasn't making time to edit videos when I was doing all this. So trying to get caught up, give you guys some content, and hope at least 5 or 10 of you guys will watch it. Stick around to the end. We'll do a little walk around. We'll talk about what's coming up after that. Thanks for watching. See you in a minute. We are back for another day of slaving away on the Montana Garage 55 Chevy. This thing is so close to being an actual car. We're getting there. Today's project, this thing needs some eyeballs. So right now we have no eyeball. And I actually already started a little bit earlier without the camera. So in this one we have, well, we don't have an eyeball, we have a black eye, and then the eyeball's still down there. So I ran into a little bit of a snag because, well, I can't find my chrome or stainless or whatever they are, the little rings that kind of hold the light in. So I got the bucket in, I figured that all out, put my new American Autowire harness in there. The little grommet goes through the little hole. Got the little plug in. These are the Holley Retro Brights. So they're supposed to be super bright headlights. Pretty cool. They're just plug and play. So that plug-in will plug into that plug-in. So that's all good. I couldn't find the pieces I need to hold the headlight in the bucket, but I think I just had a revelation. There is a real good chance, it's all kind of coming back to me now, that when I put the fenders on the 57 here, I probably was missing some pieces for these headlights. So, and as a matter of fact, I think this is actually the headlights that I had for the 55. This one's broken. But I assume this right here is my trim ring that I'm looking for. So we are gonna have to rob from the delivery here to put the eyeballs in the 55. But it's not really robbing because I think these were robbed from that anyway. So we're robbing back. It's kind of like Robin Hood, robbing from the rich and giving to the poor. We're robbing from the, I don't know. We robbed from the 55 for the 57. Now we're robbing them back. I guess it's not like Robin Hood at all. I don't know what I'm talking about. It's we're still robbing. You know, these headlights are in here, so everything I need should be there behind this cover. So let me get this taken apart, and then we'll see if we can get our eyeballs in there. And who knows what else is going to happen today. I got friends in town for softball tournaments. They're staying at the house here. They're gone right now, but we might have them out here a little bit. We might go for a ride in the car. I mean, I don't know. You just never know around here. So stick around and we'll all find out together. A couple screws and a little spring later, and I got my trim ring back that somebody stole from me. That was me. Didn't fare so well for that cracked headlight stuff. This headlight actually still worked, but apparently the old glass wasn't doing too good. Anywho, let's see if we can now use this to get the first eyeball in the 55. All right, so somehow my little camera was set on cinematic in the previous clip or two, or who knows how long. We'll have to look and see if it made any difference. Do I look any difference? Did I look more cinematic in the last clip? We'll find out soon, I guess. So here's a trim ring. Here's my Holley Retro Bright light. So that should fit in there, I'm hoping. So for you guys that don't know, this has 2 tabs, and these are like your adjusters so you can raise or lower the beam of light, like so you're aiming your headlight. And then it's got a hole here, and that is held on by a spring that is already attached to the headlight bucket here. So, and these have Holley labeling on them. So I guess in a perfect world, you'd want the Holley labeling so you could read it straight up and down while you're near that spring, which should be turned just a little bit. So somewhere in there, will actually go in here, and it does. Well, bam, and I can turn it a little bit still. Now, this plug won't fit through the hole in the headlight bucket, and then the plug for the headlight bucket's already in there. So I'm hoping that there's room for all this stuff just to kind of fit in behind the headlight in the bucket. So we'll plug it in. Should plug in. Should plug in. It does plug in, but you got to be strong to do it, apparently. All right, now we got to make sure all that's going to fit behind the headlight somehow. Get this bad boy jammed in behind that adjuster. I got to go get my light so I can see how. Hold on. So there should just be a groove in it. They're probably out way too far. Where am I at here? Let's go like that. This goes in that little groove, and that little groove. Oh, now I'm gonna wish I would have grabbed a pair of pliers. Did I? No, I didn't. Get your tools organized before you start something. Make it a little easier. At least that's what I've heard. I've never tried it. Hopefully it won't be a strike. In that groove, get your finger out of there if possible. In that groove, make sure our Holly labeling is straight up and down. Under a little spring. Tug. Snap her in the hole. And just like that, we have headlights. I do have the chrome trim ring somewhere. I say chrome, it's probably, we'll call it pitted chrome. It'll be perfect. So we are going to repeat that same process over on that side, starting with re-steeling our headlight bucket. And guess there won't be any night driving for the 57 for a while. I haven't driven it at night for, I did once a couple years ago, so shouldn't be a big deal. Haven't driven it at all this summer, so. We're hoping to drive this thing. So headlight numero dos coming up. Here's a better look at the pieces of the headlight harness you get from American Autowire. So it comes in this nice wire loom, I guess. You got your 2 wires in your ground and a little grommet. This is obviously the headlight bucket. I took mine out and painted them black. So it's ready for the track, of course. And then there's just like a little clamp on here. You got to kind of wiggle that through the hole. But once that goes through there, bada boom, bada bing, lock the grommet in place and you're all set. The standard headlight or the Holly headlight, or I'm sure there's other ones, plug right into that. They're plug-in doohickey thingamabobber. Easy peasy. Eyeballs installed. I threw the pitted trim rings on. They'll be good enough for now. Or forever, who knows. I think I mentioned before, I can't seem to find my parking turn signal blinker lights, whatever they're called. I have one more hope. I have stuff up in that corner in the rafters that I was just looking at. I don't think they're up there, but I need to crawl up there and look. I looked through this other stuff recently, looking for something else, and they're not up there. Most of the other 55 stuff has been over here in the corner or over here in the corner, and they're not in either one of those spots. So I don't know where they are. If I don't find them, I'm gonna have to get new ones. I mean, I guess maybe I could find some used ones, but if I get new ones, I'll probably get new headlight trim rings just so, you know, these aren't old and ratty and these are nice and shiny. Anyways, we're gonna look for that, and then I think we'll try to get this wiring into that there hole right there. So the headlight wiring harness comes out and goes into there and plugs in. That's this guy right here. So let me look for my running lights, and then we will, even if I don't find the running lights, I'll want to get these wires run so we can see if the headlights work. That's the plan. Poked around up there in the rafters and I did not find my parking lights, but I did find some of these. I don't know the correct term for these either. These are the inner wiring cover panel things. I don't know what they're called. Anyways, I could only find one before for my 55, and it's this one right here. So you see it's all rusty, but there's a little trough here. I don't have any wiring in here anymore on this side. I do have wiring in the other side. This screws on here to kind of protect the wiring. So I don't know why I don't have my driver's side one. I can only assume the driver's side floor was worse. Maybe it was totally rotted out and I just tossed it. I don't know. But now I got a couple more to choose from. They are side specific, so I'll see if I have a driver's side one. And maybe I'll clean these up and squirt some black paint on them, and we can screw those in before we put the carpet in. So it wasn't a total loss climbing up there. I have no idea where my lights are. All right, got some black sprayed on those guys. Now we are back to American Autowire harness stuff. So I may have said this in a previous video, but it may not have ever got to you guys. So the original 55 Chevy harness came out of this hole right here, just in a round grommet. What you get with the American Autowire harness is you get a plug, you know, at the firewall, and then so obviously there's a plug that sticks through right there. So what they have is it's a specific shaped plug, and then there's this grommet here. I guess I can take it out of there. This is for a 56 or 57 Chevy, but that's the way these plugs are designed. Before, the wires did not unplug right there. They just came through the firewall. But now they unplug, so you have just this round hole. And so what I did is I purchased this grommet, but the hole needs to be opened up. It has a lip on the back side, and I already opened it up and I thought I had it far enough, but I don't. So I'm gonna have to take the old die grinder here, and we'll make that hole just a little bit bigger. The grommet fits in there, but I can't get the, you know, the plug in it because it's a little too tight. So we'll, you know, sneak up on that, make it a little bit bigger, and then hopefully we can get these two to plug together. If you want to do this, you have to get, this was not part of the American Autowire kit. I ordered this, I think, just from Summit Racing. But let's see if we can make it work now. All right, so obviously, where are you at? You don't want to go too much, so I just went a little sneak up on it, as they say. And what I What I did before is I have a little belt sander, and there's, like I said, there's a lip on the inside where it curls in, and I took that belt sander and I tried to get most of that lip off. Still a little bit of lip on there. I just thought maybe the die grinder would work better. So I'm trying to remember how I figured out how this goes. This has kind of a fat side and a skinny side. I'm thinking, what I think is happening just from what I've been trying to do before, there's like a little lip in there. I think the outside plug has to plug into that lip, kind of how I had it before I took it apart to show you guys. Could be wrong, but I tried to put this together already, and this is what I've deciphered so far. But now that it'll fit in there a little better, we'll try again. So if this plugs in to that lip, then the inside plug will come from the firewall and plug like that. So let's put her in there and find out. Still kind of deforming the grommet, so I don't know if I got it big enough. Or this will go in there without pushing it through. I can get the inside one to poke out, but I don't think that's the way it's designed. Yeah, if this is the case, it's got to go bigger still. All right, so as usual, I think I was trying to do that wrong. I think I showed you guys up here how I thought the cap from the harness on the outside, because it went, oh, this goes over, this part here goes over the part that comes out from under the dash. So I thought this wide part here had to go into the grommet just because of the way the grommet is designed, but I was wrong. There's a stop on the grommet, and the stop on the grommet is for the back side of this piece. So the back side of that piece hits the stop in the grommet, so that sticks all the way through, and then this plugs in and out, which makes way more sense. So I almost made the hole too big, messed around trying to put that together wrong. So if you're ever doing this, that's the dealio, at least near as I can tell, that's the right way. There's that little step in the grommet, and it is to hold the back side of that part, which makes sense because then you can actually push it together and pull it apart, because the way I was doing it, you kind of had to have two people, and you almost still have to have two people, because as I push this together, it starts to want to push that out of there, but it's probably because I made the hole just a hair too big. But anywho, it's still good. It fits in there and it spins a little bit, but there's no air gap, so should be groovy. So we'll get this plugged in and figure out where some of these wires go. All right, next day out here in the Montana garage. I finally got rid of my company. Just kidding. Thanks for stopping by, guys. It's good to see you. And I came out earlier this morning and I started messing with this wiring. So I have a little bit of a wiring mess going on here. What we got going on is I got I don't remember where I left off, but I got the grommet to fit, the plug plugged in. And normally you have obviously like an inner fender here. At least at this point, I'm not running the inner fender. So I'm gonna run the wires up something like so. I'll tuck them up under the fender here. And then normally the wires would go through this hole with the grommet. And then the headlight wiring stuff, which is right here, would come out. Well, it'd connect under here where it's hidden, but the wires would come through this hole and then in a hole in the inner fender. I might put this piece, but since I'm not running the inner fenders, my wires are just gonna come up under here, and then from here we're gonna go under the crossbar or whatever this guy is called to get over to the other side. Kind of just getting started on that, but I have my wires figured out, so I gotta get my wire cutters and crimpers and whatnot, and then put some ends on these so I can plug them into here and figure out which wires go down to the park lights and which wires go across for the other headlight. Looks like the tan and green are first, so the tan and green can't really show you down here, but kind of. This is the plug-in for the headlight. So this is the tan and green coming off of the wire harness coming out of the firewall. It used to go through this little hole and be on top of the inner fender well, but I'm just gonna connect them all under here. I'm gonna leave them a little long, and then I'll find some sort of creative way to kind of zip tie or hold these up so they're not dangling down. So I'm just gonna cut it. Then what I have to do is I have to cut this, put a connection on it, and then the rest of this wire will also go into the connection, and then this wire will go across to the other headlight. Start with a little snip action, if I can find my snippers right here. Say right there's the magic spot. Hopefully that'll work. Don't know why it won't. After snip comes I guess strip. And with these connections we're using with this wiring harness kit, you don't need very much wire exposed. This tab grabs the insulation, this tab grabs the wire, so right about there is what we want. We could be a hair longer, you just don't want to get it too long where the wire core is interfering with the plug-in. So in this case, means we're sending one wire across as well. We are going to grab the other half of the wire that I just cut off, which is all this stuff right here, and we're going to give it a little strip action the same. So now we have green wire here and a green wire here, and this is a double, I don't know the name of these type of connections, but this one's a double one. So with this wiring harness, or with this type of wiring kit, you need, this one does the double crimps and this one does the single crimps. So in this case, we're gonna use the double. And dropping stuff, wire I just cut, there it is. Boom, boom. And like I said, we're doing this because this wire comes into this headlight plug, and then it's gonna go across to the other one. So we're gonna line those up something like so, and then we're gonna do the first operation on here, which is crimp the wires in place. You gotta get these opened up as far as you can. A little too wide. I'm gonna try to close it up. I'm gonna cheat and close it up just a hair with this guy. I just bent those wings in just a hair so I can get them to go in the crimp tool better here. Get her opened up all the way, going where it wants to go. Make sure everything's pushed in place. Give her a good squeeze. So there's our first crimp. I can't bring it any closer to you because the wire's strapped in place, but we can bring you guys over here to look at it. And then second crimp, same thing, only different. You flip this guy upside down. Now you're using the wider jaws. I'm just gonna crimp onto the insulation part. Good hard squeeze. And there we go. That's how that's all crimped together. Could have got, maybe you probably don't want, you want insulation, or I don't have insulation right there, but we're gonna say that's probably good enough. All right, then this guy is gonna go inside of this little connector. Let's see which way it goes. It goes a certain way, so it goes that way, so that means the green wire is this one. The green wire goes in this spot, and it looks like it's gotta go this way to lock in place. Wham bam, thank you ma'am. That one's all locked together, so we're gonna do the same thing for the tan wire, and then we will figure out how we're gonna sneak them across the other headlight. So we got the brown one spliced together, and we kind of got brown and light blue running down to where the blinker is gonna be, and then the other part of brown is gonna go across with this stuff. And again, we'll get it all tucked away under here when we figure out exactly what we're doing. So it looks like, let's see, orange. This is for an electric fan. I'm running non-electric type fan. So I was gonna take this out of the whole plug and just get rid of it, but I think what I'll do is just double it up inside the wrap that I'm gonna do on here, and then that way it's there if I need it. So this one's just gonna get wrapped up and gone away. Green I think is horn, which should be right down here somewhere, so we don't need very much green. It's just gonna kind of stay right here, kind of like this. Well, bam, you know, obviously a little neater. And then dark blue here is gonna go across with the rest of them. So it's got to get untangled from this mess. And well, bam, it's going over there with those guys. So now we got to find a way to somehow neatly, kind of neatly, organize this stuff together. So that's what I'll be doing now. So now I know it looks worse instead of better, but I have a bit of a plan. At least I think I know what I'm doing. So I took some stuff apart that I'll show you when I put it back together. We're going to tuck this up, and I'm going to take a second and wrap what I can with this non-adhesive wiring harness wrap. I also got this from Summit with the, not with the American Autowire kit. You got to order it separate, but it's also an American Autowire product. So it's kind of, you know, it's just not, it's not like sticky black electrical tape. So if you have to take it back apart, everything's not all sticky. There's supposed to be some fancy way to kind of whip it and tie it at the end, but I usually end up just hitting it with some actual black tape to hold it in place is what I've been doing. So I don't want to unplug this down here because it was kind of a pain to get plugged in, and I needed help to do that. So I'm going to try to just wrap from here. I'm not sure, would be better if I just took it out of here, I guess, but we will struggle along. And I'm not sure what you guys are watching, as usual. Non-Emmy award winning camera work. Oh shoot, I also want to, I almost forgot. I'm going to double this guy back and just put it in the harness. So it's there if I need another wire for a fan or something else. I'll just have to cut the tape apart, but at least it'll be there. Snip it off straight and clean. And then I will, just because that's an exposed wire that's probably hot, it's probably switched, I guess. Straps the tape on that guy. Probably not the way the professionals do it. Never claimed to be a professional. Just gonna put it in here with these guys and wrap it up. So in this end I just started, and then I'm wrapping over itself to hold it in place. When I get to the other end is when I'll use a little bit of black tape to hold it, probably. I don't think the little knot situation they try to show you in their video looks very good, but it probably does if you know how to do it. I'm sweating all over my bare metal here. That's no good. Now, I'm actually not quite sure how I want to do the end of this. If I want to try to end it and start again, or just wrap it around this little Y action I got going on here. It's like we're gonna have a little bit of bunching up, get everything quite how I wanted it. Not too bad, I guess, once I suck it tight. We'll try something like that. Not sure if that's the way. Let's see, this green guy, yeah, we'll just leave that out. That goes to the horn if I ever put that in. And we'll wrap this going across to the other side. The problem is I'm not really gonna know where to stop with the wrap. All right, I think I'm just gonna leave it like that until I get this stuff tidied up and I can tell exactly where that's gonna end. That's it for the wrapping. That's a wrap. So now we have the wire wrapped, but it's just, you know, your basic jumbled mess. So what to do with it? There's actually, you guys probably can't see it, but there's some sort of little bracket up under the fender under here. I don't know, something with the inner fender must have had a bolt. There's like a little sheet metal screw spot here, a little tab. So I'm gonna take one of my insulated clamps and screw it into that spot right there. It's gonna go like that, so I'm gonna get it around my wire first. Where that guy went to there. Screw started in there again. It gave me a little trouble the first time. Surprise, surprise. And if I wasn't too lazy to go get a light, I could see where it goes. There's the rub. Too lazy. Gotta struggle. Change position, so get over here with you guys. That way you can't see anything at all. Well, that doesn't work either. Secret is getting it started. Then I'm golden. Sure glad I'm showing you guys this. All right, I'm gonna have to get a light in. Get it in the hole. I don't think we got something going on now. It started. That was the hard part, if you couldn't tell. I'm not left-handed, so anything left-handed is not good for me. All right, so get this on so you don't have to look at my bald spot. Get that kind of where I want it, which I guess is around something like so. All right, that's as tight as she goes. The wire will still kind of slide, so I may have a hose clamp in there somehow too if I need it to stay put for sure. The rest of this stuff, what I did is this. This is another insulated hose clamp that I just cut in half. I'm gonna put it on the back side of this bolt right here, and then it just kind of rides up in here against the inside of the hood or the fender, and it just kind of, you know, holds the wires in there like so, but just up where you can't see. If I can get it started again. We already saw what kind of struggle that can be. I had to hog the hole out in the clamp just a little bit, and I thought I did it enough, and it still wants to spin on there when you tighten it. You know what I mean, maybe not. No, I'm just mumbling. All right, so we got it started, and we're just gonna turn it up in there. Well, bam, put the wires over top of it, and then once we tighten it up, that's gonna hold them up out of sight. I may have to get creative with some hose clamps, or zip ties, to actually hold them in position. Before I get it tight, let's make sure it's doing what I want it to do. Seems to be. Now, I'm assuming the hood will still close with all this because these go in here too, so there must be enough gap. So that shouldn't be a problemo. Now we're back to trying to organize a little bit more once what we're doing here. All right, so now we need a way to hold this junk up here. Let's see, what's the green? That's the horn. It's all gonna disappear under there somehow. So let me come up with a plan for that. All right, so here's a peek up underneath. There's that spot where I got that insulated clamp. Then we come along here, and I did another one of these half insulated clamp tricks right here. So that's what's holding the wire up right here. I don't know if we can see under there or not, but everything's tucked up where you can't see it. And then, you know, then this guy is ready to dive across under this bar. So let's make that happen. So we're gonna go under the bar, and it has these two little channels here, I think. So the wire, because there's not a hole. I don't know if you guys can see through there. There's no hole through there. So it has to sneak out right here where you can see a little bit. And then I may have to find a way to clamp it up in here, or maybe once you just get all this stuff tight, it stays up in there. I don't know. And then we'll go back into this side. And then we'll do something similar with some clamps or something to hold it up over here. And then we got to get this headlight wired and put the ends on and all that stuff like we did on that side. All right, so you can see it sneaks through right here. Just tighten this guy up, and I guess that's all we do to hold that in place. And we're gonna sneak it through the other side. So we got the wires run across here. I used another one of my half clamp tricks. If you can see anything up there, probably not. Kind of holding this stuff in place. And some of this, again, is kind of temporary because I don't have the other lights or this panel here, and I'll find ways to kind of make sure and tidy that up. So for now, I'm just kind of like, it's not real pretty, but stuff is just kind of looped up and tied together until I can run the lights or the wires down to that light. We'll get it all nice and pretty then. But for now, what we have to do, terminate our other headlight wire. So before, we used our double wire crimper in one of these ends, and now we're going to use the single wire crimper in one of these ends because we are just doing one wire in going into the terminal. On the other side, we did two because it went shot back across. So now it's terminating and plugging into the headlight, so we just got to do one. Same theory, fits in there. This time we use the yellow crimpers. Get it where you want or get it started. Squeeze real hard. I will say that in the American Autowire instructions, they did say it was recommended to solder all these too, but then also none of their crimps that they put on are soldered. So whatever. I'm not soldering any of them. Seems like this crimps them in there pretty darn good. So then you flip your tool over, and again, this one's a little wide, so sometimes I gotta cheat and kind of crimp these, push these together just a hair. So then the crimp tool, let's see, I gotta go this way and squeeze. Nice tight crimp. I don't think that bad boy's coming apart, soldered or not. One more to go, and then we're just gonna have to kind of terminate, you know, I'll cut these a little short because it's only got to go to right there and get rid of some of this wire, and we'll loop it up and tie it in place like we did the other side. And wha-bam! We got kind of a tangled wire mess up here, but again, it'll get a little nicer once we get the other lights and put these other side panels in. So, I believe, fingers crossed, at least the headlights are wired. Obviously the blinkers aren't wired, but let's find out together if they work. It should, right? All right. Oh, I left my battery hooked up the other night when I was messing around, so, but this was off, so that's good. I think everything's good. I haven't burned nothing down yet. So, there's that squeak everybody loves. Got dash lights. Look, we got headlights. Boom. Let's see, we got any bright, dim, and the little bright indicator even works on the dash indicator, whatever it's called. You know what it's called. You can tell me what it's called because apparently I don't right now. Anyways, boom, we got us lights. I'll have to put it against the garage door or something and aim them because they're just kind of sporadically in there. But boom, one less thing to do, or one less thing checked off the list. So, geez. What's next? We should probably drive this thing again soon, huh? I suppose the first thing I should do is clean up this mess. So just as a kind of, as you can see, so you can see how things are going here. This is all the extra wire from just the headlight. So one good thing about this American Autowire kit, you can see in here, is basically all my other leftover stuff. They give you plenty of length of wire. I haven't had any wires that I thought, man, this is not long enough. What could I do? They're plenty long, and so you have plenty of options for how you want to route this stuff. Other than the park lights, I think I'm completely done. Well, no, that's not true. I still have to do the courtesy lights and the door switch lights. So there's your door switch. I actually got a new switch for the other side, but I think that's what these plug into. So I got to figure that out, do a little research on that deal. And then they actually give you some other, I have a dome light and it works. It doesn't work with the switch right now because it's not hooked up, but well, I think I turned the power back off, but the dome light works. But they give you this courtesy light harness, and they actually give you a couple little courtesy lights to mount under your dash somewhere, so you get dome light plus some under dash lighting. So that's cool. So I got to figure that out. But that and the park lights and anything else I want to add, I guess, is it for the wiring. So I'm mostly basically done with the American Autowire kit. Overall, I am very pleased with the kit. I would recommend it. I would recommend getting the crimpers, or, I mean, they're expensive, but you need to be able to make that kind of double crimp. I don't know what it's called. There's probably other crimpers out there that'll do that. I didn't have any, so I just went ahead and bought the American Autowire ones. So they seem like a quality tool. They are expensive. Like I said, I can't remember. They're almost $100 a piece, I think. So, but in my case, I plan on wiring maybe that 4-door 57 if I keep it for a while, if it doesn't sell. And I also have a 69 Chevelle that I'll probably put a new wiring harness in. So I figured it was worth the investment for the good tools. And I guess, like I said, they recommend to solder all your crimps as well. I did not do that. You can tell me if that was a bad idea. It probably was for some people, and some people say it's not a bad idea. So it's just like everything else. Everybody does it a different way. And we're back to present day Montana garage. We're gonna do a quick walk around of the car, kind of just show you a little bit of the wiring, kind of in its final state, because I never really did that in any of the videos. So the car is, it's dirty, it's dusty. It was out here when I was doing all the sheetrock work. I had it covered up, but it's pretty dusty. And we got some oil issues over here. You know, I drove the car quite a bit. I never went on any major trips or long drives, but I drove it around town a lot. And you know, you spend all this time putting stuff together, and then you start using it and you start finding, you know, the things that need fixed. You got the bugs that you got to work out. There's a few things that I already need to address, and we're going to talk about that Montana Garage Mondays starting this coming Monday, February, is it the 5th or the 6th? Whichever one is Monday. Hold on, let me check. Monday, February 5th, 7 p.m. Mountain Time. I'm going to go live on the YouTube channel, and we'll talk about kind of, like I said, the bugs that I've worked out, the stuff I already need to fix, the stuff I haven't finished that I still need to finish, and I got a big event that I signed up for that the car's got to be ready for, so we'll talk about all that stuff, a little shop talk, give away some stickers, that sort of stuff. So coming back Monday night for Montana Garage Mondays, and we'll figure all that out. For today, we'll just do a quick walk around and show you a little bit of the wiring. You already kind of seen this stuff in the last video, and then I don't have these side panels in yet because when I painted them, they got all, if you remember my Firewall painting episodes, there's like 13 of them, because it took me forever to get it painted right. The same thing happened for some reason when I painted these with the SPI epoxy. I'm sure it's something I'm doing wrong, but they got all fish-eyed and wrinkly and nasty, so I got to sand them down and put those in, and then we'll address this wiring. In the back of the car, I'm going to grab a light because it's hard to see. We didn't really show you any of the wiring back here. And again, everything's all dirty. Nice and dusty. There's lots of walnut shells from when I sandblasted the inside of this trunk with walnut shells, and I think for the rest of the life of this car there's going to be walnut shells coming out of there. Anyways, the wiring comes out of the passenger compartment there and just comes along the trunk wall, and then of course we tee off to the lights. We got a little wire going down here to a license plate light, and then over to this side. Trunk mounted battery, and then under here's where the wires go through the floor. I think I showed you guys those before. But the thing I want to talk about back here is back in this part. This is not like super pretty how that's all together, and you can't see it with the light how it is, but these wires got kind of crisped and crossed. But this wire right here that goes up, that is your dome light wire. And it comes, at least with this American Autowire harness, it comes in this wire harness that comes back here to the taillights. I had it all wrapped up, and I left the fuel sender wire out, but I didn't leave that out, so I had to cut it out and rewrap it, and it just got kind of hokey right there, and I didn't want to keep going any further, but I should have because it looks kind of weird. But anyways, that's the story with that. That dome light, let's turn our switch on. That dome light wire sneaks up into your pillar right here, and then goes to your dome light up there. Speaking of dome light, see that works with the door switch. We got dome light, a couple under dash lights, and you can kind of see some wiring from down here. This needs tucked away once I put this side panel on, but there's no wires hanging way down low in the dash. I mean, everything's covered up and somewhat tidy, I think. And the cool thing is, like I said about this dome light, is everything works. I mean, all the dash lights work, they dim and they brighten. You know, the brake lights work, the headlights work, the flashers work. Everything works how it's supposed to. When I used to drive this car, I mean, I probably had headlights and at least maybe one tail light and one brake light. Who knows? Half the time, none of that stuff worked. So, and it was a wiring nightmare. It's so cool to have just all the stuff work. I mean, I just never had that before, and I used to drive the car. So if your wiring is in disarray and you need to fix some stuff, I would recommend one of these American Autowire kits. It was simple enough for me to figure out, so you can probably figure it out too. And it's just nice to have everything working. So that's it for today. That's it for the wiring. I'm still, like I said, nursing the shoulder. So no new content real soon, but I do have more content of how we got the 55 to this point. So watch for another video coming up in the next few days. And don't forget to stop by for the live. See you there.